Aye, shepherd's pie. Greetings from the Philippines. I'm in the Rumbo again. About to have a chat with my, I would say good friend, but he's not really a good friend. He's actually a great friend. His name's Ray, and I got to know Ray through the channel actually as a subscriber. And he messaged me one day when I was in Dumagetti, and we went out for a beer, and we've been pretty close since. Ray's got a exciting story. Well, not exciting, an interesting story. He's an interesting bloke. So, start the interview. G'day, Digger.
G'day, mate. Nice to be here. Hello, viewers.
How you doing today?
Yeah, great, really great. Yeah, every day in Chicky Hill's great, mate.
Right, well, we're going to, you know the format, Ray.
Yep.
You've seen a few of the interviews.
I've seen them all.
You've seen them all.
Yeah.
So you know the format. Where did it all start, Ray? Where are you from?
I'm from Sydney, Australia. Was married for a long time, divorced 16 years ago. I've got 3 daughters, I've got 8 grandkids back in Sydney. I retired in 2016 and decided I want to travel. And the first place I wanted to travel was a place I'd been holidaying for 35 years.
I'm gonna have to slow you down now, Ray, because this is going to be the quickest interview in the world to speed your game. So you grew up in Sydney?
I grew up in Sydney, yeah.
Big family?
Yeah, no, only me and my sister. Only me and my sister. Our parents divorced when I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and I was raised by my grandmother, and my sister was raised by my grandmother as well. In a pretty hard area of Sydney, in the inner city, where all the waterside workers were, and some hard men. So if you get, I lived in a terrace house, and straight up to the hotel. And if you wanted to see a fight at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night at closing time, you could just look down on the pub and it'd be on every night. Yeah.
Sounds a bit like where I'm from, mate, East London.
Yeah,
it's
pretty rough and ready, mate. Yeah, in the old days, you.
I don't know what's going on here, but people seem to be having a shouting match for some reason.
Yeah.
It's usually quiet in here, but anyway, there you go. As soon as I put a camera on.
Yeah, for that, I played sport, from 5 or 6 years old. I played rugby league till I was 31. Semi-professional later on when I got older. Had a good career. Had a good marriage for most of it.
What was your career?
Huh?
What was your career?
I worked in local government. I was a pool superintendent of council pools, of local recreation centres. Yeah. Had a real good career, 42 years.
I don't know why they're making so much noise. I wish they'd piss off. They're going now. Anyway, right. So what was the career again? Sorry, I got this shouting match going on in the background.
Yeah, I started off in 1975 I was walking past the swimming centre and I was out of work. I was between jobs, and I just walked in and seen the manager and said, you're looking for a pool attendant or something. Yeah. You could show me your bronze medallion, show me your TV, and bang, you can start tomorrow. And I started as a junior lifeguard, and gradually worked my way up to a senior pool attendant, and then a few years down the track as a manager. And I worked for two councils, in total 42 years, and then I went to a southern Sydney suburb of Wollongong and was managing their pools for them, and then ended up the coordinator of their whole 8 pools. So I was hiring, firing, ordering chemicals, giving them uniforms, make sure they had everything they needed. It was a great career. I loved every minute. It's one of those jobs, Simon, where it's not like going to work. You can't wait to get up and go every day.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's
it's
nice,
one of those jobs. It was sensational, and it served me well. It served me really well. Yeah.
You were lucky, mate.
You're a very lucky man. Very lucky man. Yeah, and I told you before when we met before, I've got a pretty strong affinity with English people or old pommies, as we call them in Australia, because I worked on the Opera House before I started my pool career. I was a labourer on the Opera House, and my job on the Opera House, they were doing the internal. They were doing the changing rooms and all that, dressing rooms, and I got stuck with a team of 8 English guys that come out to Australia specifically to work on this project. and I was charged to look after them. I didn't have to do any work. I just had to. All I had to do was to make sure they had their mud, they had their bricks, they had whatever they wanted, and I went and bought their lunch orders. That was it. That was my job. So I didn't actually do any labouring. I just sat around.
You had the best job, by the
Great
sound
job,
of it, like.
great job. Yeah, well, what a great bunch of blokes. You know, like we'd start work at 7, and I'd get the train into Circular Quay in Sydney, and I'd be walking down pretty close to the Opera House at Circular Quay at 6:30 in the morning. And where would these 8 guys be?
In the pub.
In the early opener. Having a couple of slices before they started work. Yeah. Come in. I said, no, too early for me, you know.
So you were married for 16 years?
No, I've been divorced.
Oh, you've been divorced 16 years.
I was married for over 30 years, yeah.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, things went sour because of my career. The kids grew up and left home, and the same old story. You feel a bit lost. She's my wife was a primary school principal, so she was chock-a-block full of work. Doing programs and looking after staff and P&C meetings and blah blah blah. And I was virtually working weekends and off during the week. So I was off and she was at work. She was off and I was at work. So it's the old slowly
you
drift apart.
You grow apart, yeah.
The slowly drift apart caper,
I know that story too well.
Yeah, but but it happens to a lot of people. The kids grow up and leave home, and it feels empty. Yeah.
So
you haven't got that family environment anymore.
So you decided to do it the expat life.
Yeah. I had a couple of years in Bali because as I said, me and the ex-wife, we holidayed there every year for over 30 years. That was our go-to place. And I thought, well, that's a natural progression. I want to get out of Australia. I'm on my own. I'm free. I'm heading to Bali. So yeah. So I was there 2 years and loved every minute of it.
See, I don't know Bali. I've never been there. Where is it? Like just one part where all the expats live, or is it like all over the island? I mean,
mainly the tourist area is virtually not that far from the airport in Denpasar, and it's Kuta, Legian, Seminyak, Canggu, and a few other places further on. Most of the expats live there, but I lived in North Bali. I was 3 hours away. I was over the mountain and down into the volcanic area. On a clear day, you could virtually see Java, which is not far away. And there was quite a few expats up there as well, but mainly older guys like me.
And how long were you there for?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, when you said the 2 years, I thought you meant before you...
No. I lived there for 2 years, yeah. And enjoyed every minute of it. I had a lovely local girlfriend, and we were very close. And unfortunately, COVID brought that to an end when we were in exile for 2 years and 2 months.
Oh, you got locked down in Oz, did you?
Pardon?
You got locked down in Oz, did you?
Yeah.
And what did you do after that? Did you go back to Bali?
No, I did go back once, but it wasn't the same, It wasn't the same, and I just said to her, I said, listen, things have changed. You've changed. I've probably changed as well. Better off grab yourself another guy,
Now I know the answer to the next question, but our viewers don't, and this is why this is an amazing story, an amazing interview. Why aren't you in Bali now?
Well, as I said, I lived there for 2 years, and my sister, who I'm very close with, she came over in late 2018. And she'd been there a couple of times before to visit me, and she came over in late 2018, and I had for probably 6 or 8 weeks before that, I had a growth on my abdomen here, which I didn't take any notice, like a guy, we don't worry about stuff like that, we don't want to go to a doctor, Anyway, it kept getting bigger and bigger, and I took no notice of it. Anyway, my sister was due to fly back home with her husband in 3 days' time, and so we had a big dinner out in a fancy restaurant in Seminyak in Sanur, Bali. Anyway, I got a white shirt on. Anyway, we're sitting there, having a drink and blabbing away, and she said, "What's that?" I said, "What?" And I looked down and there was just blood everywhere. So the friction of the shirt obviously had wore the top off this, what I thought was a wart or something, or one of those things that grow out of your body when when you're getting older, you know, you get all these kind of weird and wonderful things, you know. Anyway, she said, show me. So I opened up the shirt and she said, we're going home in 3 days, you're on the plane with us. So yeah, so I got on the plane and I got back. She'd already booked me into her skin specialist in her town, in Western Sydney. And we went straight there from the airport. And this guy's had a look at it and he said, mate, that's a melanoma, you're in trouble. So he booked me in for scans and what do they call? They take samples of your
Biopsies.
Biopsies, yeah. For all that sort of thing anyway, and he had a look at the results of that, and then he referred me on to a big hospital in Sydney, the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, which was about 2 weeks later. So I had some more scans a couple of days before I went there, and I went in to see the Chinese woman, very nice Chinese woman. She was actually a professor, and she sat me down. She said, "Ray, you're in a bit of trouble. We've detected melanoma cells in your bone in your left leg, on the top of your spine, you know, various underneath subcutaneous melanomas. We can't do much for you here. We're going to refer you on to the Melanoma Institute in Sydney, where all the head shebangs are, and to research all this stuff and know what's going on, you know." So that was 3 weeks later. I went into this Melanoma Institute, and 3 days before I went, I had to have another scan. So I goes in there, and the professor calls me in. And he said, "Ray," he said, "we've got a bit of a problem." So in that time, those ones I already had it enlarged, and it had also migrated to 3 spots in my brain. So he said to me,
Jesus.
he said, "Things don't look too good, old son." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "You better get your affairs in order." Yeah, okay. So what happened was, after that, I've gone home bloody feeling like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders, getting pissed every night and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, well, no, you better wake up to yourself, you know, start taking this seriously. So the first thing I done was went out and paid for my funeral. I did. I bought the plot, I bought everything. You know. It cost me a lot of money. But yeah, anyway, I got a phone call from them, this Melanoma Institute, a couple of weeks later, and they...
But just before we get that bit, he gave you 6 months, didn't he?
Yeah, I asked him, I said, "Well, what's the plan?" He said, "Well, you've got more than 6 but less than 12, as things look now." Yeah, okay, so yeah, I've done all that. I bought the funeral anyway. About 3 weeks after that, I got a phone call from the head nurse there. She said, "Ray, can you come in and, you know, someday this week, the doctor wants to have a talk to you." So I said, "Yeah." So in I goes. And we sat down and we had a long conversation, and he said, "Listen, we've got a drug that's not really proven yet. It's proven in a few cases in America. We're not sure whether it'll help you."
So it's like a trial.
Yeah, it might, whether it'll hinder you or, you know, you could be worse off. I said, "Well," he said, "wanted to go home and think about it." I said, "No, I don't need that time to think, Doc. I'm on the cusp. I'm going to stuff it anyway. You know, give it to me, you know." So, so 3 weeks after that, they organised it. I had to have monthly, what they call immunotherapy, straight into the bloodstream. 2 drugs, 2 bags that go in together. So I had to have those monthly, and the first 2 months wasn't too bad. Like, and then I had to go back and have scans and then go and visit the doctor. But the first 2 months wasn't so bad. But the 3rd month it really hit me, and I started to get really sick, which they told me, you know, it would come eventually, you know. I started to get really sick. I couldn't sleep. I was itchy all over. I had horrendous diarrhea. You know, really knocked me around. Anyway, I kept going with it anyway. So I had 5 treatments, and I don't think I've got any photos of right. But no, I looked a mess. I looked 110 years old. You know, I looked so the 5th month, I got a bad dose of colitis, and they had to admit me to hospital. And I was in hospital for 12 days in a bad way. And anyway, the doctor came in and seen me. My doctor, my melanoma doctor, came in and said, Ray, he said, we're going to give you a couple of months off, and then we're going to see if you want to go forward, if you want to keep going. And by this stage, there was no improvement, minor improvement, you know, in the melanoma tumours, you know. And I said, okay. So I had the 2 months off, and I started to feel really, really good, you know. I said, oh, this is great, and like we're approaching the 6 months, and I'm still alive, you know. So anyway, so he calls me back in, and we start again at the treatment centre. Anyway, I had 2 treatments and some minor improvement, and then on the 7th month, there was about 25% improvement, shrinkage in the tumours, in all the tumours, brain and all, you know.
Fantastic.
And he's over the moon. He said, mate, he said, we might be on the way here. He said, don't hold out, you know, a great deal of hope. He said, but we may be on the way. So after the 8th month, there was 50% improvement, shrinkage in the thing, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then after the 9th month, there was about 20% of the tumours left. Then after the 10th month, I went into his office. I had the scans 3 days prior, as I did, and I made an appointment. I went into his office, and he sat me down. He said, take a seat. He said, have a look at this, and he turned his computer screen to me. And what I had was, I had 3 scans. I had MRI scan for the brain, so they put you in the box. A PET scan and a CT scan, which covers the rest of your body, you know. So he said, have a look at this one first. He said, that's your PET scan. He said, can you see anything there? No. Because on the scans, the tumours show up as black. Yeah. And I couldn't say, no, nothing there, Doc. That's clear as a bell. He said, well, he flicked over. He said, have a look at this one. He said, that's a CT scan. Can you see anything there? No. And then he flicked over the MRI for the brain, the head, you know. He said, I showed you these a few months ago, and showed you where they are and how you can identify them. He said, can you see anything there? I said, no, can't see a thing. He said, well, old son, he said, you're clear. Your melanoma is long gone. Yeah, so yeah.
And that was it, you beat it. You beat it.
Yeah, well, there is a slight chance it can return, so I have to go back to Sydney at the moment every 6 months for scans, and but I go back in April again for the next scans, and the doctor told me, he said, if these ones are clear, we're going to put you on yearly scans. I know which you'll be over the moon with, because it won't interfere with your travel plan so much, you know. But yeah, so I've been clear for nearly 4 years.
That is amazing, mate.
Yeah, for nearly 4 years. Yeah, it doesn't. The treatment, the immunotherapy doesn't actually do anything to the cancer. What it does is it enlivens these T cells, the very lazy cells we have in our body. It enlivens them, and they actually attack the cancer. Like your normal cells.
Yeah, like immune system.
Yeah, normal cells can't identify cancer. You know, they're standing at the gate. They're the sentry, and anything, you know, like that's pretty ordinary, and they identify that, and they go to work on it. But cancer, it coats itself, and it just goes straight through and goes to the keeper. Okay, but these T cells, they know it, they can see it, and once they get it, apparently they multiply in the millions, and off they go.
It's fantastic, mate.
It's an incredible story. Yeah,
it is an incredible story, George, and the way you tell it is. Sorry, I called you George then.
That's all right. Right. That's all right,
Fred. Right, said Fred.
Yeah, but as I said, mate, I didn't hold out much hope, and but yeah, I'm probably one of the very lucky ones, because I think at the moment this immunotherapy's got about a 30% rate of survival. And there's a lot that go on it that don't make it, you know, like in all the visits I had to the doctor, like, you know, when you go to a doctor, you make an appointment, you're never in on an appointed time. It could be a half an hour or an hour after your appointed time, and you get friendly with the other people there. And you go back, and I'd go into the doctor and say, well, where's Bill? Oh, he passed away 2 weeks ago.
That must mess you up, though,
mate. It did. Like, you know, but yeah, mate, I'm incredibly lucky guy.
Has it changed your outlook on life at all? I mean, do you still
look mate, like, I'm not a religious guy. Never been a religious guy. Like, was forced to go to church when I was younger. But every morning I look up to the sky and say thank you. every morning. But
So you're a sun worshipper now then?
yeah, sun worship, yeah. But that's what virtually, like, I worked outdoors all my life. And even the doctor asked me my history, and I said, well, mate, I was just mad surfy when I was in my early teens, to my late teens. And in those days, we didn't know anything about ultraviolet and sun damage. And like, you get to the beach and you'd be there all day, and you'd be throwing coconut oil on yourself, you'd be throwing peroxide in your hair, and you know what I mean?
So how long after you got the all clear did you decide to get on your travels again? Was it like straight away?
Virtually, yeah, virtually. Yeah, I went back to Bali to sort of end up there, and I'd made up my mind back in Sydney that I wanted to see other places. I wanted to go. I wanted to see other countries, and Bali. After all the years of holidaying there and a couple of years living there, well, it became a bit old for me, And I was watching these YouTube channels of all these famous YouTubers in Doomageddon, and I said, I think I'll try the old Dramageddon, And so off I came, and I.
When was this? What year?
No, this just here. I landed here in April.
Okay, right, April this year.
So I've been here 8 months, and I was here a couple of months, and
But that was in Doomageddon.
Yeah, I was in Doomageddon for a couple of months.
But you weren't living in the city, were you? You were living in.
No, I was in Valencia. Yeah.
What's it like there then? What do you think?
Lovely, lovely, mate. Lovely, fantastic people. The same like what do you always say in your vlog? About the people here, how friendly, how accommodating they are. Like you wouldn't meet better people. They're just sensational people, so I was there for 2 months, and I went down to a famous expat bar in Doomageddon called Sideways, and I was having a beer there, and a bloke next to me, and we started chatting, and he said, "Have you done any travelling?" I said, "No, no."
Hold on a second. A famous bar in Doomageddon called Sideways.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. Where is it?
Mate, that's where all the expats go in Doomageddon.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not on the boulevard, is it?
No, it's across the National Highway going up to Valencia.
Yeah.
So it's between the National Highway and Hypermart.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's where all the expats go?
That's where all the expats go.
I won't be going there then.
That's where all the expats go, mate. Yeah. But I was chatting with this guy, and he asked me if I'd travelled, and I said, no, not as yet. I'm still sort of finding my feet, And he said, mate, I've just come back from Tiggy Hor. He said, nip over there. He said, I'm sure you'll like it. He said, I loved it. I was there for a month, So sure enough, a week later, I packed. I was staying in a rented room in Valencia. I packed up and over I came. I didn't have a motorbike then. I stayed at a fantastic resort up in Palatine, up the road here, run by a local woman and a German husband. Absolutely great people. Looked after me, fantastically.
Where's that then?
Palatine, just up from Palatine.
No, what was it called? Do you remember?
Bacano Resort.
Right, Bacano Resort.
Yeah, like, mate, if you come to Tiggy Hor, guys, go to the Bacano. Got a great pool, great restaurant, live music. You can't beat it. So I stayed. I booked for 5 days, and I ended up extending for another 5 days. I was having such a good time. I rented a bike. Anyway, I went back to Doomageddon, and I was back in Doomageddon a week. I said, no, I don't like this. I want to go back to Tiggy Hor. so I've hightailed it back over here, and that time for 2 weeks. And I had a bike that time. I bought a bike by then. Anyway, so I spent the 2 weeks here, and didn't really want to leave. But I had to go back anyway, and I went back. I think I went back for 6 days, and I came back, and I stayed in that resort, and I asked them, can you help me find a place? Yeah, sure. Yeah. And it just so happened that the woman that runs the place, the German's wife, she had an auntie that had a 2-bedroom house that she wanted to rent out. Yeah. So I was in the right place at the right time. So bang, I said, I want it. It's mine. No negotiation, nothing. I want it. Anyway, so I went back to Doomageddon. I packed up everything I had, paid up for my room, and back here, and so I've been back here. I've been here about 4 months.
So when I met you in Doomageddon, you'd already got the apartment, had you?
Yeah. I was only back in Doomageddon because I just returned from.
Oh, that's right.
Sydney.
You come back from Oz, yeah.
Yeah, just come back from Oz. Yeah. So I've been here ever since, and mate, I got no plans of going anywhere. I love it. Yeah, I love it. We ride around here. Like I'm 73 years old in April next year. I ride around on a lair on a Kawasaki Cruiser, you know.
He's a very good driver. I've often been on the back of him. I feel safer with him than anyone else on the island, to be honest with you. I don't know
Not,
why.
not real good at night time when I get the glare of the lights on me. Yeah, that's why I don't ride around too much at night. But yeah, mate, yeah.
But there have been a couple of times when he goes on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happens there. Your mind goes black sometimes, you know.
Well, the funny thing is, when the locals started shouting us, I thought we were in the wrong. You start shouting back to the locals like, what are you doing?
I said to you, look at this idiot. What's he doing?
So, no plans to go elsewhere.
No, mate. No, not. I might visit a few more islands. Like now, we're talking about Cebu, Oslo, Moabal, you know, places like that. You were talking about nipping over to Bohol, but I don't know what if those plans have.
No, those plans have
gone wayward now.
Those plans have gone wayward now.
But yeah, I like it. Even Palawan. I'd like to go and see Palawan and El Nido. And
it's like I said to you, next time you come to Dumaguete, we'll meet up. We'll take a run over to Cebu because the ferry's only like 150 metres from where my apartment is.
Yeah, mate, and now like I've done the trip a few times on the row on my bike, and it's just so simple, you know. Like
yeah. No, we'll do a bit of videoing up there.
Yeah.
Ellen will be a lot happier if I go with you. Right, mate. Well, I don't know. That's been a really interesting. It's an amazing story, mate. It really is. When you told me that the first time in Rumba.
A thing I forgot to add was that immunotherapy doesn't only get stuck into the cancer cells; it gets stuck into some of your good cells as well. So I'm on lifelong medication, thyroid medication, pituitary gland. Like I take steroids for that, you know.
Small price to pay, though.
It is a small price to pay. Like I'm not the man I was, but I'm still alive, and I'm still 80% or so.
If I asked you a question now, I'm not knocking Bali because it's like, you know, I'm so happy and I keep saying how great it is here. But I love my time in Thailand. If you ask me which is better, Thailand or the Philippines, can't really give you an answer because. Now I would say the Philippines, but those 7 years were fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's better for me now to be in the Philippines.
The same as me, mate.
That's what I was going to ask about you know, when you're in Bali, like.
Yeah, my 2 years in Bali, like of living there, were some of the best I've had. Now, they're lovely people also, you know. I will admit I did like the food there a bit more than I like the food here.
Yeah, the people are great here. Yeah. The place is great. The food ain't fantastic. It's not bad. But it's not fantastic.
Yeah, but as I said, mate. But if now being here for 8 months, I'd give the nod to the Philippines.
You give the nod,
particularly this area like Negros and Siquijor. Yeah, I'd give the nod here. Yeah.
No, I would be sad if I have to leave this place.
Yeah. No, but there's never any trouble here. Like everyone's friendly. You know. Like I was telling you earlier on, I didn't have a helmet, and I got pulled up at a checkpoint down here in San Juan. And I spun the story. I'm sorry, officer. I said I was in the rum bar last night, and I came out and someone had stolen my helmet, and I hadn't had time to replace it. But first thing in the morning, I'll be in the Siquijor and get it. So he bought it. Yeah, on your way. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
They stopped Paul the other night. He didn't have a helmet on, and they apologised. We're very sorry, sir, but could we ask you to put your helmet on? Like, I've never met police like this anywhere in the world.
Polite policeman.
Polite policeman.
Yeah. Who'd know? Polite policeman. Yeah.
No. Well, that's the trouble with Siquijor is we are looked after it. Yeah. I was out in Siquijor City a few weeks ago with someone, and they were telling me they get 6-hour power cuts 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Because all the power on the island is diverted to San Juan, where the tourists are. They don't want to have power cuts here.
No.
The police will do you, if you're a Filipino local, they will do you just like that for not wearing a helmet or whatever.
For sure,
They're told not to upset the tourists. I mean, it's like, we are very lucky.
Yeah. No, mate, it is, mate. And even the place where I live, like it's in a family compound. They've got a big sari store in the front on the main highway. And I think there's 6, maybe 7 houses there, but all fairly well spread out, you know. My landlady's about 50 metres from me, you know. Lovely woman, her and her husband, and mate, all those people there, every morning it's good morning, how are you, Ray? You know, they bring me over cakes, they bring me over snacks, you know.
I walked up here to the rum bar today, and I must have been wished Merry Christmas by about 15 different
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And it's the first time I've walked up to the Rum Bar in years, in ages. Because whenever I walk anywhere, I only go like, you know, a couple hundred metres and a bike pulls up, says, Simon, where you going? And get on the back. I mean, they are so friendly.
Mate, you're an item in up there in, where is it? Matey, yeah. You're an item up there. Everyone knows a dashing pom.
Right, well, on that note, thanks for sitting down with me, Ray. I really enjoyed that interview, mate. I mean,
it took a while.
It took a while, yeah. He's a bit of a diva, this one. You've got to really talk him into it. But no, thanks for doing it, mate. I appreciate it. It's a great story.
Mate, before we finish, there's one other thing I've got to say. You had your birthday party, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 17. So it was like a week ago.
A couple of weeks ago, and it was a nice spread at a local small resort, and I think it just goes to show that your popularity and people liking you so much is the amount of locals that turned up.
Yeah, no, I was touched by that. Yeah.
Incredible amount of locals turned up. You know, some might have only come through, have a feed and a drink or so, and then go. But they showed the courtesy of turning up. So
well, I was amazed because I didn't think the women from Stella's were coming, but they closed the hotel early and came when they brought in that birthday cake for me. I was like, no, it was really nice. And it was a good night, and I was touched. I think really was.
I think the 3 cocktails might have helped.
Anyway, no, I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. I did. Well, thanks again, Ray. Really enjoyed this, mate. We'll tie it up now and we'll have a beer.
Yeah.
To the old anyone watching, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the interview, hit the like button. Be great if you subscribed. We're getting near the 1,000 mark. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe and be lucky. Catch you later.
Guys.